Morning, everybody. Chief of Detectives Jimmy Essig. I'm here with Chief Patrol John Schell. Just before we get some updates on the robbery, I'd just like to update everybody on that 12-year-old shot yesterday at 325 Bristol Street in the Bronzeville section of the Bronx, of Brooklyn. It occurred at 10:20 p.m. yesterday, January 31st, inside the lobby of that location. Investigation at this time reveals that there was 8 to 12 youths playing or hanging out in the lobby of that location. Based on video and witness accounts, we believe one of the youths removed a magazine from a firearm, pointed it at our victim, and pulled that trigger. There was no prior disputes or arguments prior to this incident. We recovered one .380 shell casing and one .380 Smith & Wesson firearm was recovered at the scene. We're asking for anyone with information or anyone who was in that lobby at that time to call Crime Stop. Visit 1-800-577-TIPS. So I'd like to update everybody on the investigation into a robbery spree that occurred between January 31st at approximately 1 a.m. and 3:10 a.m. At this time, we are investigating at least 7 incidents involving 2 males doing gunpoint robberies, all with a stolen white Toyota minivan. That white minivan was stolen in a gunpoint carjacking on January 21st at 3:30 a.m. on Summerfield Avenue in the Ridgewood section of Queens. The victim in that described 2 males with a gun. 10 days later, on January 31st, in the early morning hours, that stolen white minivan with a license plate that was changed embarked on a robbery spree encompassing 3 boroughs and culminated in an arrest. In every case, our complainant or witness described that vehicle and 2 males with a black firearm. The first incident occurred at 12:50 a.m. in Alstein Avenue in North Queens, where a female victim was robbed of a chain, a pendant, and a phone. The next incident was 1:05 a.m. on Queens Boulevard, where we have 2 victims, a male and a female. They had their phone removed, $200 U.S. currency, and credit cards. The male was pistol whipped and lost consciousness. At 1:45 a.m. in Brooklyn on Wythe Avenue, a halal food truck was robbed of $375. And then back into Queens at 1:55 a.m. on Broadway with an outdoor dining area where 6 victims were robbed of $300+ and their credit cards. And then at 2:35 a.m. in Manhattan, Washington Square Park South, a food truck was robbed. The victim lost his cell phone. And then finally, the last of them was 3:05 a.m. in northern Manhattan on Seaman Avenue, where a female victim was robbed of a chain, her purse, and her credit card. At approximately 3:50 a.m., after an extensive search, the vehicle crashed at 179th Street and Cedar Avenue in the Bronx. Recovered in that auto was property from at least 2 victims, and a 9mm black ghost gun was recovered. Taken into custody and being charged at this time by the Southern District of New York with a Hobbs Act robbery for the Washington Street food truck is Alvin Velez, a male 34 years old of 70 East 138th Street. He has 11 prior arrests: in 2001 for sexual abuse and resisting arrest, in 2004 for assault, in 2009 for criminal sale of controlled substance, 2011 for criminal possession of a weapon, in 2013 for an attempted murder where he did a robbery and fired shots at a complainant. He served 8 years, was released in November of 21, and he was on parole until September of 25. He then gets arrested 5 times while out on parole. In 2022 for criminal possession of controlled substance and reckless endangerment. Again, for criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, and a criminal sale of controlled substance near a school. As early as January of 2023, he's again arrested for criminal possession of controlled substance with intent to sell. Also arrested is Carlos Perez, a male 24 years old of 3333 Broadway. He has 9 prior arrests. He's known to us as a 280 gang member, which is a Crip set which operates in the Bronx. In 2017, he has a criminal sale of marijuana and a criminal possession of a loaded firearm. 2018, obstruction of governmental administration. 2019, he's locked up in a conspiracy case done by the Gun Violence Suppression Unit, where he also was arrested for an attempted murder, shooting at somebody. He's released in August of 21 and paroled to December of 24. He was violated for that parole and remanded from April of 22 to October of 22 and then released. Since then, he does in 22 a sexual abuse, a criminal possession of controlled substance, intent to sell. In November of 22, he does an assault 2 where he beats a 79-year-old man up. And in 23, January of 23, criminal sale of controlled substance. The investigation is ongoing at this time, and we anticipate further charges. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Patrol John Schell.
Good morning. So 7 incidents, 2 violent individuals, over 2 hours and 10 minutes. Our young cops from multiple precincts, the 110 precinct, the 109 precinct, the 34 precinct, the 46 precinct, support units, our Highway 1, our aviation units, the late shift, working together as one team, communicating together, using our current technology and our communication to take 2 violent parolees off the streets of our city. These, ladies and gentlemen, to my right here, this is what it looks like, our great cops. Tremendous job to all of you. And as I spoke earlier in the crime briefing at the end of the year, this is what we're dealing with. Multiple bad people committing multiple crimes over multiple boroughs, specifically robberies, using stolen cars or cars with fake plates. So this is what we're up against, and this is what we did well. If you take a look at this video, this is what the apprehension looks like from our aviation units and our young cops behind this van. One individual was apprehending quickly, and this individual was apprehended and trying to get into a building by a responding officer. So, good job by officers. 2 violent people taken off the street.
Chief, that the one who's caught in the building on Sedgwick, is that building of any import, or is that just a random building that he ran into?
At this point, random building trying to hide.
Chief, it's been said that one of these individuals, when arrested, said that they were going to be out in a few hours, assuming that they're not going to be held under the bail law. Is the federal prosecution a way of getting around this? Are you going to be doing this more often when necessary? It's not about getting around it. It's we look at the biggest bang for the buck on the prosecution we're going to get. In this particular case, they robbed a commercial food truck. It fit the federal standards. As the investigation's ongoing into the other 6 incidents, we went to the Southern District, and they'll be prosecuting him on that, both of those individuals on that.
How do they know each other, and do you think there's other people, like is it part of sort of a gang activity?
This is in instances like this we see quite often. Cars stolen, used in robberies. You see they're both from Manhattan. They both have extensive drug histories in the past. So we believe they know each other. They're riding around, and they did these crimes in a very short period of time.
Ricardo, Telemundo.
Chief, seems to me that you wanted to make sure you mention, you don't always do this at these press conferences, the criminal history of each of these suspects. Why you pointed out in such detail that information?
Well, you see how violent they are and how they shouldn't be out on our streets, because when they're out on the streets, they're on parole for bad crimes, attempted murder. They're on parole. They get arrested numerous times again. We don't violate their parole. They're out on the street, steal a car with a gunpoint, ride through 3 boroughs, pointing guns at people, pistol whipping people. We're lucky something more serious didn't happen. They should not have been out on the street.
Tina Moore.
Hi, Chief. You said one of these people had beaten up a 79-year-old man. Was that the attempted murder charge?
No,
Can you
no.
tell me anything about his injuries or what happened there?
It was a dispute on the street. He was a 70-year-old man. He punched him in the face numerous times, causing injury to his nose. He was arraigned on the assault. He's got a pending next court date in February.
John Doyle, CBS.
Chief, what is it about the food truck that makes it a federal crime?
It's a commercial establishment. So it's under the Hobbs Act, commercial establishments. You do a robbery in a commercial establishment, we can charge the federal.
Rocco.
Chief, what was his, for the suspect who was bragging about being out in 24 hours, did he have a reaction when he realized his case was going federal?
I'm unaware of his reaction to that,
And
no.
just a follow-up regarding what Chief Shell said about parole. One of the 2 suspects was violated once. Theoretically could have been violated the second time. The other guy wasn't violated at all. Have you been in touch with parole? And is it clear at this point if there was an attempt to violate more than once?
The one was violated for violating his parole, so he was violated, but he could have been violated again. That's still under investigation, why parole didn't violate him on numerous arrests afterwards.
Mark Santiago, NBC.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about, there's multiple officers here from multiple precincts, can you talk about the work that they did together, how they knew which car to look out for, how they communicated, and finally at that arrest, did they all converse together, Chief, or how did that all play out?
So they have as far as communication, they have the ability to talk amongst multiple boroughs on one frequency. In terms of the car, we have our operations unit from this very building, 24/7, that can help them. If there's a license plate involved, they can get it out quickly, and that's what happened here. So think about this, Mark. These young cops, midnight cops, all working together, hearing each other speak. You have our aviation units, the eye in the sky. You have our highway people out there, all converging, talking together, working as one. And they did a tremendous job of taking, like I said, 2 violent people off the street that shouldn't, quite frankly, should not have been out there.
Last question, Kristen Thorne.
You guys may or may not be aware, and you can tell me who feels more comfortable taking this question. For the last year, I've been investigating the disappearances of people throughout New York City. And I've grown very frustrated trying to get information out of the department, so I do have some questions for you. In one of the cases that I've looked at, Chelsea Kobo, her case at the same time is both listed as a criminal investigation and as a missing persons investigation. And so I'm trying to get clarification on which one it is. Is it a criminal investigation or a missing person investigation, or both? And I know I don't expect you to have that answer right here now, but it is something I'm interested in getting, and for a year, I have not been able to get that answer.
Yeah, so Chief, I'll just have to reach out to DCPI later and we'll get the information.
Right. Second question, more generally speaking. According to the department, 14,000 people last year disappeared in New York City. We don't know if that number is quite accurate, but we do know that's the estimate that the department gives out. It is not unreasonable, and people understand that many of these people were killed and have disappeared under criminal circumstances. Is the department concerned about the amount of people who have disappeared from New York City, which by your own estimates are in the thousands, that have disappeared under suspicious circumstances, and there may be people out there that killed them.
I mean, anytime a person is missing, we take them all seriously. Well investigated, either a crime or a missing person. In most instances, that person will return home safely. But any specific cases you want to talk about, you could get in touch with us at DCPI, and we'll have a conversation on that.
Could I get in touch with you, because I've
Sure.
tried for DCPI for a year, and I've gotten no response at all.
Right. We'll
Send us an
talk.
email, we'll
Thank
we'll get that.
Chief,
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, could we just say, could you say us again on the 12-year-old?
Yeah, sure.
Is the belief that the kid who fired didn't realize there was a bullet in the chamber? Is that the belief?
That's the way the investigation's leading right now. He takes out the magazine. There's one still in the chamber. He points it, fires, and according to witnesses, they say, "What did you do? What did you do?" So that's where we're tending to look at right
What's
now.
the motive of the
That's
kid
the
who
last question,
stabbed?
guys. Thank you. Chief, we're just gonna do one picture of you.